Now, on another matter, I've repeatedly warned colleagues on both sides against setting aside America's interest in pursuit of closer relations with foreign leaders who they think share their values. I made it clear to Washington Democrats that whatever kudos the Paris climate deal earned them with European Greens, punishing America for producing affordable, reliable, and abundant energy was welcome news to China, the world's leading emitter of carbon, and to Russia, which would weaponize Europe's own reliance in due course. Likewise, I've urged fellow Republicans to recognize that despite whatever affinity we might be expected to hold for a Hungarian ruling party that professes traditional values, legitimizing Viktor Orban's reckless obeisance to China, Russia, and Iran is not in America's interest. And I've been clear-eyed about the regimes with which the United States shares neither interests nor values and acted accordingly. For example, the strategic case for maximum pressure and credible deterrence against Iran, the world's most active state sponsor of terror, is compelling enough on its own. Weakening sanctions in exchange for empty promises on nuclear proliferation is not in America's strategic interest. Neither is responding to proxy violence with half measures. The only way to achieve measurable improvements to the security of America's interests in Iran's backyard is to change Iran's calculus. This is, of course, an opportunity for the United States and allies with common interests in the region to work more closely together in applying meaningful pressure on Tehran, an opportunity as yet unseized. But lest anyone forget, just as Tehran's export of terror threatens America's interests, its repression at home is an affront to American values. Today is the second anniversary of the beating, detention, and murder of Mahsa Amini at the hands of Iran's morality police. Tehran's thugs killed another 500 people and detained 1,000 more who took to the streets in protest. Today, Iranian women are continuing their protest against the regime's repressive morality laws. Many are walking the streets without head coverings, and 34 political prisoners have gone on a hunger strike. Tehran is marking the anniversary in its own way, placing Ms. Amini's surviving family under unofficial house arrest. Further east, in Kabul, another group of medieval theocrats is dragging Afghan women and girls even further backward into the familiar repression of Taliban rule. A new vice and virtue law amounts to an even more severe crackdown on education for Afghan girls and even tighter restrictions on women's behavior in public. Like in Iran, Taliban repression is not difficult to recognize as abhorrent. And the latest developments are an outcome many of us saw coming years ago. Unfortunately, they are also a shameful reminder of a decision that damaged America's interests and a sales campaign that denied observable reality. Recall that as the Taliban surged back into power in Kabul, President Biden insisted that, quote, human rights will be the center of our foreign policy. Remember how the president's national security advisor declared that the administration was absolutely, resolutely committed to alleviate the burden that Afghan women and girls will face in the years ahead. I'm curious how the administration would rate the effectiveness of that commitment. I wonder whether it thinks its confidence in so-called over-the-horizon counterterrorism has paid off. And when the administration's special envoy warns that its patience with the Taliban is running out, I can't help but ask why on earth any such patience would align with America's interest in the first place, let alone our values.